So why should investors care about natural capital? Well, to me, this kind of almost brings to mind to paraphrase the Monty Python sketch in Life of Brian, what has natural capital ever done for us? And so aside from food, water, energy, air, medicines, general sense of well-being, not very much. To me, it's absolutely clear, and I think to anyone who thinks about it for a while, natural capital is essential for human life to exist. It's essential for our economy to exist, and you kind of think about it as the holding company for our economy. Now, we often don't acknowledge this when we look at businesses, or typically when investors look at businesses, because many of the ecosystem services that we get from natural capital are free. They are universally available, and we use them without actually accounting for them in a classic kind of accounting sense. And this is wrong, because we only recognize them actually when they run out. So, if you're a food producer, typically you won't account for water use. If you're an energy producer, you won't account for the loss of finite non-renewable resources when you extract the fossil fuels from the ground, nor for the CO2 emissions which result from that. Equally, if you're a timber company, the deforesting of primary rainforest isn't in any way differentiated from renewable use of timber. So, that type of accountancy doesn't recognize the value of natural capital, and we think it's a blind spot that is incredibly important to fill in, and that's why we take it incredibly seriously at Alliance Trust Investments, because eventually these kind of externalized sources of services that you're getting from natural capital do end up being internalized into the P&L of your company, and that either comes through regulation. So when you're regulated, you cannot extract any more water from a particular area, or it can come through into forms of taxation to change behavior, or it simply runs out, and then you've got a serious business problem on your hands. So as longer term investors, we do a lot of work to try and analyze companies who are managing natural capital well, because we feel it gives them a good long-term advantage. And so we've looked at water use within the apparel sector. The cotton in the shirt that you're wearing is incredibly water intensive. Which companies actually manage that risk well, and which ones sort of are ignoring it. Equally, we look at the overall carbon emissions of our portfolio, because we see carbon as a big and growing risk. So we want to know which companies are exposed and which companies within our portfolio are actually helping society to reduce carbon dioxide emissions over the long term. And also we look at food producers. Where do they source their food from? How can we ensure it's being sourced in a way which preserves or enhances natural capital rather than detracts from it? And in this way, we think we can build a better picture of the long-term likelihood of success of companies within these three very important sectors. So investors should care about natural capital, not just because it's a good thing to do in itself, but because it makes much better investment sense.